We know their names from the pages of the Bible. Peter, Andrew, John. We think we know their story, a story of faith and miracles. But that is only half the truth. The part that comes after the final chapter is a story of exile, brutal persecution, and unbelievable journeys to the ends of the earth. Stick with us until the end, and you will see this famous story in a completely new and much darker light. Their greatest journey had just begun. Let's begin with the man Jesus called the Rock, Simon Peter. After the resurrection, Peter stepped into a role of immense leadership. He wasn't just a fisherman anymore. He was a cornerstone of the burgeoning Christian community in Jerusalem. The book of Acts tells us of his powerful sermons, his healing miracles, and his unwavering courage in the face of persecution. But his mission wasn't confined to one city. Church tradition, supported by the writings of early historians like Eusebius, tells us that Peter traveled extensively, preaching in regions like Pontus, Galatia, and Cappadocia, all in modern-day Turkey. His journey eventually led him to the heart of the Roman Empire, to Rome itself. It was here, in the capital of the world, that Peter would face his final test. The city was under the rule of Emperor Nero, a man known for his cruelty and his intense persecution of Christians. According to tradition, as the danger grew, fellow believers urged Peter to flee the city to save his life. He agreed, and as he walked along the Appian Way, he had a vision of Jesus walking towards the city. Peter asked him, "Lord, where are you going?" Jesus replied, "I am going to Rome to be crucified again." In that moment, Peter understood. He could not abandon his flock. He turned back, returned to the city, and was soon arrested. When he was sentenced to death by crucifixion, he made a final, humble request. He told his captors that he was not worthy to die in the same manner as his Lord. And so, tradition holds that Simon Peter was crucified upside down, a powerful and poignant symbol of his humility and devotion until the very end. While Peter's path led him west to the center of the empire, other apostles traveled to the farthest corners of the known world. Take, for example, Thomas, a man often remembered as Doubting Thomas for his need to see and touch Jesus' wounds. Yet this moment of doubt transformed into a faith so profound, it propelled him on one of the most remarkable journeys of all. Ancient traditions, particularly those cherished by the St. Thomas Christians of India, tell a story of incredible perseverance. They hold that Thomas journeyed eastward, traveling through the Persian Empire and sailing across the Arabian Sea to the Malabar coast of southern India around the year 52 AD. Imagine that voyage, leaving behind everything familiar to bring a message to a land of completely different cultures, languages, and beliefs. In India, Thomas didn't just preach, he established communities. He is credited with founding 7.5 churches, planting seeds of faith that would grow into a vibrant Christian tradition that endures to this day. He performed miracles, won converts, and established a foundation for a church that was uniquely Indian in its culture, but universal in its faith. But his work was not without opposition. His success angered local rulers and priests. After years of dedicated ministry, tradition states that Thomas met his end in Mylapore, near modern-day. While praying on a hill, he was martyred, pierced by a spear. His story is a testament to how a man once defined by his doubt became a pioneering missionary whose faith left a legacy on an entire subcontinent, proving that questioning can lead to the deepest and most resilient belief. The fates of the other apostles were just as varied, painting a picture of a faith spreading like wildfire across the globe. There was Andrew, Peter's brother. He was the first disciple Jesus called. His missionary zeal took him north, into the lands of Scythia, which is modern-day Eastern Europe, and down into Greece. In the city of Patras, his powerful preaching converted many, including the wife of the local Roman proconsul. Enraged, the proconsul ordered Andrew to be arrested and sentenced him to death. Like his brother Peter, Andrew also felt unworthy to be crucified in the same way as Jesus. He was bound, not nailed, to an X-shaped cross, known today as a St. Andrew's cross, where he hung for 2 days, continuing to preach to the crowds until he passed. Then there is John, the beloved disciple. His story is different. He became a leader of the church in Ephesus, and, as Jesus had requested from the cross, he cared for Mary, Jesus' mother, as if she were his own. Unlike most of the others, John was not martyred in his youth. He was exiled by the Roman authorities to the island of Patmos. It was in this isolated place that he received the heavenly visions he recorded in the book of Revelation. He was eventually released, returned to Ephesus, and lived to be an old man, the only apostle to die a peaceful death. His life reminds us that faithfulness isn't always measured in a martyr's death, but also in a long life of steady, loving service. And we can't forget James, the brother of John, who was the very first of the 12 to be martyred, beheaded in Jerusalem by order of King Herod, a stark reminder of the risks they all faced from the very beginning. From the heart of the empire to the eastern seas, the apostles' journeys were remarkable, but some of their stories show the power of personal transformation most profoundly. Consider Matthew. When we first meet him in the Gospels, he is not a fisherman or a scholar. He is a tax collector, a profession widely despised for its corruption and its collaboration with the Roman occupiers. Yet, when Jesus called him with 2 simple words, "Follow me," Matthew left everything behind. This radical change of heart defined his entire ministry. After Pentecost, tradition tells us that Matthew traveled far south, bringing his message to the lands of Persia and, most notably, to the kingdom of Ethiopia. Here, his story takes on the quality of legend. He is said to have established a thriving church and even healed the daughter of the local king, earning him favor in the royal court. But this favor did not last. After the king's death, a new, ambitious ruler took the throne and desired to marry his own niece, a young woman who had dedicated herself to a life of faith under Matthew's guidance. When Matthew publicly advised the king that this was against God's law, the king's fury was ignited. He would not allow his authority to be challenged. While Matthew was at the altar celebrating the Eucharist, the king sent a soldier who struck the apostle down with a sword. The tax collector, who once took from his own people, had now given everything, including his life, for a kingdom far greater than Rome. His journey shows that no past is too broken to be redeemed, and no one is beyond the reach of a new purpose. Their stories didn't end when the Bible's narrative did. They were just beginning. These men carried a message of hope from the heart of Rome to the shores of India and the deserts of Ethiopia. They faced hardship and persecution, not for wealth or power, but out of love and conviction. But the story doesn't end here. While John died peacefully, another apostle's fate remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. Click the video on screen to discover his story, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an expedition into the past.